We often go through life thinking we know how strong we are, until we are truly tested. It's in those moments when the world seems to be crumbling around us, when everything we counted on falls apart, that our real strength is brought to light. Bad days strip away the masks we wear and the comforts we rely on. They take us to our breaking point, and that's precisely where our breakthrough begins. During easy times, we stay in our comfort zones, following routines and avoiding discomfort. But bad days push us out of that zone. They force us to face reality head on, to deal with pain, uncertainty, fear, and loss. We may not realize it in the moment, but every time we get back up after being knocked down, we are proving our inner power. Every tear shed, every silent battle fought, and every step taken despite exhaustion is a testament to the strength we didn't know we had. It's through these moments that our mental and emotional muscles are developed under Adobe. Like lifting weights tears muscle fibers to make them stronger, enduring hardship strengthens our resilience, our focus, and our determination. Bad days are not signs of weakness. They are the very situations that forge warriors out of ordinary people. They remind us that we are capable of handling more than we ever imagined, and that real strength doesn't show up when everything is going well. It shows up when everything is going wrong, and we choose to keep going anyway. Failure is often seen as a dead end, a sign that we're not good enough, not smart enough, or not worthy of success. But in reality, failure is far from the end. It's an essential part of the journey toward growth and excellence. The most successful people in the world have all experienced failure, and not just once. They've failed repeatedly, sometimes in front of millions, sometimes in complete silence. But what separates them from the rest is that they didn't let failure define them. They let it shape them. Each time we fail, we are being handed an opportunity. It might not come wrapped in shiny paper, and it rarely feels good in the moment. But if we look deeper, we'll find lessons hidden within our mistakes. Failure teaches us what doesn't work, where we've gone wrong, and how we can improve. It humbles us, but it also equips us. It forces us to innovate, to think differently, to adapt and grow in ways success alone never could. Moreover, failure builds character. It introduces us to patience, persistence, and humility. It demands that we develop a thick skin, a strong heart, and a determined mindset. It shows us the importance of grit, the ability to keep going when everything seems to be going against us. Many of the breakthroughs in life come only after breakdowns, after we've hit rock bottom and have nothing left to lose but everything to gain. When we embrace failure as a teacher, instead of fearing it as a curse, we open ourselves up to real progress. We begin to understand that falling down doesn't mean we're weak. It means we're in the process of becoming stronger, wiser, and more prepared for the next stage of our journey. Every setback, no matter how painful, contains the seeds of a greater comeback. While intelligence often gets measured by academic achievements or career success, one of the most powerful and underrated forms of intelligence is emotional intelligence, the ability to understand, manage, and express emotions effectively. Interestingly, it's not during times of ease and comfort that this intelligence is developed. It's during moments of hardship, loss, and emotional turmoil. Hardships force us into deeper self-reflection. When we're hurting, disappointed, or overwhelmed, we're pushed to confront the truth about ourselves, our fears, our insecurities, and our emotional patterns. These difficult experiences demand that we dig deep into our inner world and ask tough Why does this hurt so much? Questions. 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 Why does this hurt so much? What do I need to heal from? What can I learn about myself through this pain? However, what initially feels like a devastating detour is often a powerful redirection towards something far greater than we had envisioned. Setbacks have a unique way of interrupting the paths that aren't truly meant for us. We might not realize it at the time, but not every door that closes is a loss. Sometimes it's a blessing in disguise. That relationship that ended may have been holding us back from real growth. That opportunity we didn't get might have kept us from discovering a passion we never knew existed. When plans fall through, it creates space for new possibilities, ones we would never have explored on our own. These redirections challenge us to reassess what we really want, not just what we were conditioned to chase. They shift our focus from external validation to internal clarity. We begin to ask ourselves deeper questions. Is this truly right for me? Or what makes me feel alive? Or what path aligns with my values and vision? These questions open the door to self-discovery and personal alignment. What's more, setbacks teach us flexibility. They help us let go of rigid expectations and embrace the flow of life with greater ease. We learn to trust the timing of things, to surrender control, and to believe that even when things don't make sense now, they might later. Over time, we begin to see how every no led to a better yes, how every closed door led us down a hallway we never would have chosen but desperately needed. Setbacks don't mean failure. They mean something else is meant for us, something better, something more aligned with who we are becoming. Instead of resisting the detour, we begin to see it as a bridge, a necessary passage to a future we couldn't have reached if we had stayed on the original path. Adversity has a way of stripping life down to its core. When everything we rely on gets shaken, our plans, our support systems, even our self-image, what remains is our belief system. It's during these trying times that we either crumble under the pressure or rise stronger with a deeper and more grounded sense of who we are and what we stand for. Adversity challenges not only our patience and endurance, but also our mindset, values, and the narratives we tell ourselves. When life is smooth, belief can come easy. It's simple to have faith in ourselves, in others, or in a higher purpose when everything is going our way. But when adversity hits, when we're knocked down, overlooked, betrayed, or burdened with pain, that's when our beliefs are put to the ultimate test. Do we still believe we're capable? Do we still believe life has meaning? Do we still believe we can overcome? These are the moments that refine our inner convictions. Adversity forces us to rebuild our belief system on a stronger foundation. Shallow, surface-level confidence doesn't survive in the face of real struggle. What does survive is the belief that is earned, the kind that is forged through experience, trial, and resilience. As we endure hardships and still find the courage to stand, our trust in ourselves begins to grow. We stop needing validation from the outside world and begin to anchor our faith within. This transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's a process of falling down and getting back up again and again. With each obstacle we overcome, we gain evidence that we are more capable than we once believed. That we can handle uncertainty, that we can adapt and survive. Over time, these experiences form a solid internal compass, one that guides us even when the road ahead is unclear. Adversity also sharpens our clarity around what truly matters. It removes the noise and distractions, revealing the core beliefs that sustain us, such as the importance of perseverance, gratitude, love, purpose, and integrity. These become more than just words. They become principles we live by because we've tested them in real-life storms. Ultimately, adversity transforms belief from a passive thought into an active, unshakable force. It gives us the kind of strength that doesn't waver in the face of failure, loss, or rejection. A belief system built not on comfort, but on experience and truth. In our fast-paced lives, it's easy to take the good moments for granted. The quiet mornings, the genuine smiles, the simple comforts of life. We often overlook these blessings because they feel routine, expected, or permanent. But bad days change that perspective. When we're hit with struggle, loss, disappointment, or pain, we begin to realize just how precious the good days truly are. Bad days, in their own harsh and uncomfortable way, sharpen our sense of appreciation like nothing else can. When you've experienced sleepless nights filled with worry, you begin to value peaceful rest more deeply. When you've had to face rejection, betrayal, or failure, you start to cherish acceptance, loyalty, and success in a much more meaningful way. The emotional contrast between darkness and light makes every moment of light feel more powerful, more real. It's this contrast that gives depth to our joy and authenticity to our gratitude. Bad days train us to find beauty in the smallest things, things we might have once ignored. A kind word from a friend, a warm meal, a walk in the sun, a breath of peace after a storm. These become more than everyday moments, they become treasures. The difficult times teach us how to slow down, to be present, and to recognize the value in what we have, rather than constantly chasing what we don't. Moreover, when we've been through hard times, we begin to live with more intention. We no longer assume that happiness is owed to us or that tomorrow will always look like today. We realize how fragile life can be, how quickly things can change, and that realization instills in us a deeper reverence for life itself. Gratitude then becomes not just a fleeting feeling, but a way of living, a daily practice of recognizing how far we've come and how much we still have, even in the midst of imperfection. In many ways, it is the bad days that teach us to be thankful, not only when things go well, but especially when they don't. They allow us to celebrate joy more fully, to feel blessings more richly, and to carry a sense of appreciation into every season of life, even the ones that feel ordinary. This cultivated gratitude becomes a source of strength, a tool for healing, and a reminder that even in darkness, light still exists. Struggles are often seen as interruptions, inconvenient obstacles that stand in the way of our goals and dreams. But in reality, every challenge we face the groundwork for something greater. Each moment of pain, failure, or uncertainty is not wasted. It becomes part of a foundation, a deep, unshakable base on which we build resilience, wisdom, and personal power. Say, the stronger the foundation, the taller we can eventually rise. Think of a building. Before it reaches toward the sky, its base must first be dug deep into the earth. The same principle applies to human growth. Our darkest moments, the heartbreaks, the disappointments, the sleepless nights, are like the digging. They carve out space within us, forcing us to grow in strength, depth, and capacity. And the deeper the struggle, the more solid the structure of our future can be. Struggles teach us how to solve problems creatively, how to stay focused under pressure, and how to keep moving when everything tells us to stop. These are not just survival skills, they are the very traits that lead to long-term success. They prepare us to handle bigger responsibilities, to lead others with empathy, and to appreciate the rewards that follow perseverance. Additionally, the future we are working toward is often unknown in detail. We don't always see how today's struggle connects to tomorrow's breakthrough. But looking back, we often realize that certain setbacks taught us lessons we couldn't have learned any other way. They built muscles of patience, determination, and self-discipline. They taught us how to bounce back stronger, how to stay grounded in chaos, and how to rely on ourselves when everything else fails. Most importantly, struggle transforms who we are. It matures our perspective, sharpens our judgment, and fuels our passion. It strips away distractions and hones our focus. The person who emerges from the fire of adversity is not the same as the one who entered it. They are wiser, braver, and more prepared for the road ahead. The foundation built through struggle is not made of ease and comfort. It is made of grit, sacrifice, courage, and growth. And it is this foundation that becomes the launchpad for a future not only stronger, but more meaningful and enduring than anything built on shortcuts or luck. So when life feels overwhelming, when the days are heavy and the nights feel endless, remember this: every bad day you endure is not the end of your story, it's a crucial part of it. These difficult moments are shaping you, preparing you, and building a version of you that is stronger, wiser, and more unstoppable than ever before. Embrace the struggle, trust the process, and hold on to hope, because the very bad days you wish away today may become the reason you smile tomorrow. Bad days aren't just obstacles, they are the bricks that build your better days. Keep going.